You're staring at your phone again. It's 2 a.m. The screen is the only light in your dark room. You've checked their last seen status 12 times in the last hour. Your thumb is hovering over their name. Your chest feels tight, a heavy mix of anxiety and a strange, painful longing. You know they aren't going to give you the validation you crave. You know they are emotionally unavailable, distant, or perhaps they just don't care as much as you do. Yet here you are, orbiting around them like a lonely satellite. Why does it feel like the less they give, the more you want? Why does unavailable feel so much more electric than ready and willing? It's not just bad luck, it's a deep psychological survival mechanism hidden in the shadows of your mind. If this cycle feels like the repeated script of your life, listen closely. You are not broken. You are simply caught in a psychological loop that millions of people fall into without ever understanding why. We think we're chasing love, but often we're actually chasing a feeling of fixing a broken part of our own history. Today, we're going to peel back the layers of your attraction. We'll look at the brain chemistry, the dopamine spikes, and the childhood blueprints that keep you addicted to people who can't love you back. By the end of this video, you won't just understand why you do it, you'll know exactly how to break the spell. Stick with me, because the truth about your heart is about to change your entire future. Let's start with a hard truth your brain doesn't want you to know. Your brain loves a gamble. In psychology, there's a concept called intermittent reinforcement. Think about a lab rat in a cage. If the rat presses a lever and gets a food pellet every single time, it eventually gets bored. It eats when it's hungry and then it stops. But if the rat only gets a treat sometimes, completely at random, it becomes obsessed. It will press that lever until its paws bleed. It becomes a frantic addict. This is exactly what happens when you date someone inconsistent. One day they're warm and shower you with heart emojis. The next 3 days, they're cold, short, and distant. That sudden, unexpected warm moment triggers a massive explosion of dopamine in your brain. It feels like winning a jackpot after a long losing streak. You aren't actually in love with the person anymore. You're addicted to the sudden relief of finally getting their attention. It's the same biological mechanism that keeps people glued to slot machines until their bank accounts are empty. You keep putting in your emotional coins, praying that the next pull of the lever will be the one that stays. But here's where it gets really interesting. Why do some people find this gamble exhausting and walk away, while you find it magnetic? The answer lies in your internal working model. This is a psychological blueprint created in your early childhood. Our brains are efficient, not always healthy. We don't necessarily seek out what makes us happy, we seek out what feels familiar. If you grew up with a parent who was emotionally distant, busy, or hard to please, your young brain learned a very dangerous lesson. Love is something I have to earn. To your subconscious, a partner who is available and kind feels boring or not quite right. It doesn't match your map of how the world works, but an unavailable person, they feel like home. You subconsciously think, if I can finally make this person love me, I will finally prove that I am worthy of existing. You aren't falling for a person, you're falling for a second chance to win a battle you lost 20 years ago. You're trying to heal an old wound by pouring salt into it. This next part might be a bit uncomfortable to hear, but stay with me. Sometimes we choose people who can't love us back because it's actually safer. Think about the logic. If you choose someone who is emotionally unavailable, you never actually have to be fully vulnerable. There's always a wall between you. As long as you're chasing them, you don't actually have to deal with the terrifying reality of a real, deep, two-way relationship. A real relationship requires you to show up every day. It requires you to be seen, flaws and all, and to handle the fear of being truly known by someone who isn't going anywhere. By staying in the chase phase, you stay in a fantasy. You fall in love with the idea of who they could be, rather than the reality of who they are. It's a sophisticated defense mechanism. You keep your heart occupied with a project so you don't have to risk the stakes of a real partnership. Are you chasing them because they're special, or is it because their distance protects you from your own fear of getting too close? So, how do you stop the bleeding? How do you break a habit that is hardwired into your neurons? It starts with something I call the boredom test. When you meet someone who is consistent, kind, and texts you back promptly, and you feel that sudden urge to call it boring, stop. Don't walk away. Recognize that what you're calling boredom is actually just a lack of anxiety. Your brain is so used to the high-stress fight-or-flight mode of the chase that peace feels like a letdown. You have to consciously retrain your nervous system to value stability over intensity. Intensity is often just anxiety in a suit. Stability is where real love grows. Start asking yourself a different question. Instead of how do I make them like me, ask, do I actually like how I feel when I'm around them? You have to decide that you are no longer a hunter looking for a trophy to prove your worth. You are a person who deserves a partner who meets you halfway without you having to beg for a scrap of attention. The moment you stop running after the wrong people is the moment the right people can finally catch up to you. The truth is, you've been looking for a yes from people who only know how to say maybe. You've spent so much energy trying to be enough for them that you forgot you were already enough from the very first breath you took. You don't need to be a psychological detective to figure out why they won't love you. You just need to be the person who loves yourself enough to walk away from the table when love is no longer being served. Look at your life right now. Is this person adding peace to your days, or are they a puzzle you're exhausted from trying to solve? Let me know in the comments. What is one quality you've been ignoring in yourself while you were too busy focusing on someone else's distance? If this video opened a door for you today, hit that subscribe button and join our community at Prism Mind. We are here to help you understand your brain so you can finally win at the game of life. Remember, you deserve a love that doesn't make you beg for a scrap of attention. You are the prize. I'll see you in the next one.